Hello, welcome back to the Indie Ocean, and to the final instalment of Cube Themed Week. This is... oh god, this is Pirate Cubes. And this jaunty, piratical melody is the best thing about the game. In fact, this is probably the best presented thing in the entire ordeal. This Microsoft Paint title screen. It's a 2D fighting game. In the vein of, I don't want to say Street Fighter because the comparison is ludicrous, but there you go. 2D one-on-one fighting game. You can see by the fact that the instructions are drawn on in MS Paint arrows that this is a very well constructed game. We have a variety of characters, all of which look like blocks of cheese. Captains of various sorts, an assortment of pirates. Oh god, really? Look at the grammar there. Ugh. Okay. A skeleton cheese, woman cheese, racially questionable cheese, American cheese. Well, I want to be one of the most fiercest pirates, so let's go with the grammatically incorrect cheese. Story mode is a joke. There's no story whatsoever. So what's this? Isn't this action-packed? The fluidity of movement, the hectic pace of combat. And it doesn't really matter which character you choose because they all play pretty much the same. I mean, each one has its own special attack that you activate using B, but apart from that, they play the same, and the special attacks are pretty much optional anyway, and none of them are exactly hard to use. Otherwise, you just jump all over the place using the left stick and hammer A to launch your attacks. You can also block using X, but most of the time that's completely unnecessary. And look at this. I hate this particular level, because it's so confusing keeping track of who you're actually fighting, when you have all these other cheeses that appear to be not even in the background, but actually in the foreground. I mean, it's just horrible design. Look at this thing. I don't want to be too hard on it, because I think it's well intentioned. Like, it doesn't seem like it was lazily designed. It just seems like it was designed by someone who meant well, but doesn't have any skill yet. So for your first sort of development project, trying to work out how to develop games, it's probably fine. You know, to see if you can make a functional game. But you shouldn't be selling it, it's grotesque. Look at this, look at the state of that ship in the background. I mean, it looks like it was drawn by a 5-year-old. At least the cheeses have a certain kind of dodgy, crappy charm to them if you're half blind. But that thing in the background looks like it's made out of sick with a couple of squares of blood splattered in it. It's just horrible. Ugh. And the floaty controls and the square chunks of yellow that fly off everything. It's not like this is the only one-on-one fighting game that's available on the Indie channel. There's also Battle High San Bruno, which looks like this. So you can see it's not like there's a shortage of quality fighting games. I mean, there aren't loads, but there's Battle High, there's ZP2KX that I covered recently. There are a few of them. There's no reason to spend money on this. It's dreadful. It's nauseatingly dreadful. I'm only by an effort of will resisting the urge to retch into my cheap supermarket brand Diet Coke. Ugh. And it just goes on, fight after fight after fight. I think you have to go through every character in the roster, but it feels like it lasts for a year. So why am I doing a This Is video of such a dreadful ordeal of a game? Well, I wanted to inject some balance. I feel like I've almost exclusively been covering good games recently, and I don't want to give the wrong impression. I don't spend all my time in a blissful days frolicking through meadows, cavorting with quality games, and somehow miraculously dodging all the bad ones by some sort of sixth sense. I had to slog through a load of crap. And I think it's about time I shared that ordeal with the lot of you. You may have been watching the Goulin challenge, but Goulin is just one among many. And this is another one. So, please don't buy pirate cubes. It's not worth it, even for curiosity. Well, that's it for Cube-themed week on the Indie Ocean. Next week will bring us another theme. So, there'll be another couple of decent overlooked games, and maybe another bad one if we're all really unfortunate. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you then.